you have passed, graduated in the year 2022. Then did we also export a lot of laborers from Champaran district to other countries?
What is contribution of ARA in 1857 revolution?
How the population of the country can be controlled, which is not stopping at all.
What is the role of IAS in the economic development? India is going to be a developed economy.
Some people in India are fighting 600-year-old, pehle kya hua, kya nahi hua. And people should live in present and plan for the future. Why do we study history?
आइए सिद्धार्थ काम बैठिए
जी थैंक यू
आप हिंदी में
नो सर इट इज इंग्लिश
हैं
इंग्लिश मीडियम
you will talk in English? Very good. Tell me, you come from West Champaran district in Bihar.
Yes.
What is the association of Champaran with the freedom movement?
So most primarily it was related to Mahatma Gandhi's Satyagraha movement, which he started with invitation of Rajkumar Shukla.
Mm-hmm.
It was from my own district.
What happened?
So it was related to indigo movement because the peasants there were being pressurized by the indigo cultivators, who were Europeans primarily, to cultivate a Tinkatia system, by which it meant that 3 parts of their whole land would be compulsorily be cultivated via indigo.
What is indigo plant? What is it used for?
Indigo is used for primarily a dye, blue sort of dye, indigo color, from which we get the name India too.
Are we still using indigo?
No, sir. Actually, with the invention of synthetic indigo, that market died down. Yes. So currently, it is all synthetic.
Okay. Then did we also export a lot of laborers from Champaran district to other countries?
Yes, sir. It was primarily to Mauritius and those sort of countries, Suriname, etc.
Okay.
Where we even today have a flourishing Bhojpuri population.
Okay. And then what was this arrangement known as?
This was a forced labor system, whose name, sorry, I cannot really recall right now. I cannot recall.
Have you read any books about this type of forced movements of the sugarcane plantations?
No, sir.
Which are the countries you said?
Mauritius, Suriname, these sort of countries.
What about Fiji? Fiji also?
Yes, Fiji also. I think it is majorly Bhojpuri speaking population.
Okay, some of the indigenous people, when they went abroad, they have become leaders also there. Are you aware of any?
Yes, sir, but I'm not aware of any names.
What about very big authors also?
Yeah, V.S. Naipaul is very popular in that.
He's from your district?
No, sir. George Orwell was from East Champaran district, from where my mother comes.
George Orwell?
Yes, from Motihari. He was from Motihari.
But I thought he was from Britain.
No, he was born in Motihari.
He was born in Motihari.
He was born in
Okay. What are the books which George Orwell has written?
1984 is very popular, and Animal Farm is also very popular.
What is the famous saying of 1984? What is the concept?
It is basically a dystopian novel which argues against totalitarianism and the evils of it, the ways we can fall into it.
And 1984? Animal Farm?
Both of them are on similar topics of
basically they were against which political thought or which political
They are against
movement?
both the evils of hyper-capitalism as well as hyper-socialism.
Very good. Now you have passed, graduated in the year 2022?
Yes.
From Guru Nanak Dev Khalsa College.
Yes, sir. Sri Guru Nanak.
What is this concept of Khalsa and who gave this concept?
Khalsa basically comes from the word Khalis, pure. It means it was a force that was set up by Sri Guru Gobind Singh, the last living Guru, human Guru, and it was aimed at protection of Dharma.
And what are the 5, items which they are supposed to identify a pure Khalsa?
Yeah, those are Kacha, Kanga, Kada, Kesh and Kripan.
Very good, very good. University of Delhi.
Yes.
The St. Stephen's College is always at loggerhead with the University of Delhi as regarding their admissions admissions process. What is the issue?
So mainly it is about the autonomy that the college wishes for itself regarding the admission, and because they do not provide reservation for other categories from SC, ST categories.
And what about the other colleges?
For example, in most of the non-minority colleges, we have the reservation for 50% for caste-based reservation and the other 50% is for general. But in minority colleges, it is very different.
Where was this 50% limit laid down? Is it?
It was in Indira Sahni case where Supreme Court laid down.
Okay, what is this Indira Sahni case?
It was basically a case about the Mandal Commission and its recommendations regarding the OBC and the limit that was set up for 50%.
What are the decisions of this?
The Supreme Court ruled in that judgment that the reservation is a right that is given to the population, but it has to be in some limits so as to ensure some level of level playing field for the people.
Did they also say that this limit of 50% can be breached under certain circumstances?
Yes, in very exceptional circumstances it can be breached, but in such cases the government must show the data regarding the specific disadvantages that the specific groups are facing.
Okay. Right now, Bihar has done a caste census.
Yes.
What is the objective of the caste census?
Caste census is primarily aimed at understanding the socio-economic status of various castes in Bihar and the linkages with the various policy initiatives and their responses.
But why is the center not following this caste census? Why are they hesitating?
Sir, I feel that we have indeed conducted a socio-economic census by center also. It was conducted in 2015, if I remember correctly. I think I'm wrong here, but it was conducted. But the problem here is the multiplicity of castes and the problems in the quantification of these data. So that is a problem.
But how has Bihar overcome that issue?
So, in my information, Bihar went with the census method, door-to-door census, by which they had a very careful method of incorporating these problems. Suppose if someone writes Kayasth as K-A-Y-A-S-T-H and someone writes K-A-I-S-T-H, both of them are similar terms, so they were incorporated.
Has it been challenged in the courts?
Yes, sir, it has been.
And what has been the outcome of the court's challenge?
It is still subject.
ठीक.
Siddharth,
Yes.
you are a product of SD Jain College, Ara.
Yes.
What is contribution of Harprasad Das Jain in education in that area?
So he was a renowned philanthropist who pledged all his wealth to the cause of education and other charitable causes. So he set up, in his memory actually, it was set up the Jain college that I studied at.
And what about Jain school?
Yes, they have the Jain school too. Also, there is that Jain medical system also, where free medical services are provided.
What is contribution of Ara in 1857 revolution?
So Babu Jagjeevan Ram was the zamindar of the region, and he.
Babu Jagjeevan Ram.
Oh, sorry, sir. I am very sorry. It was Kunwar Singh, who was the leader of the region. Specifically, he was the zamindar, and he led the revolt from Bihar region. And
what is contribution of Jagjeevan Ram in India?
Sir, he was the first labor minister of post-independence, and also he played a major role in the upliftment of lower castes and also the national movement.
Who was defense minister in 1970?
1970?
Yeah.
Sir, I don't really recall. It might be Jagjeevan Ram or George.
Yeah. What is achievement of Tiger Reserve, Valmiki Tiger Reserve?
So, it has been very successful. In fact, since its incorporation, the number of tigers has about doubled them, and they are in good health.
Suppose you have been selected in IAS.
Yes.
And a high power committee is constituted under your leadership,
Yes.
with a member from the central government of India and the government of Nepal to solve the floods in Bihar. How will you proceed?
So the primary problem that we face is Nepal does not have the reservoir capacity for the extra water that gets accumulated in the rainy season. So we have to incorporate the data from the IMD, and we have to link this data with the Nepali database, and on that basis we have to first of all set up the dams in Nepal which have that capacity. Also, there should be a regular interconnection and call links between both sides, so that any cases of such haphazard decisions are not being taken on the Nepali side. Also, on Indian side, we do have to take up the issue of encroachment on the riverbeds, which are a very serious
What
problem.
Bihar can learn from Odisha, cyclone management, what they do in cyclone management, what Bihar should do in flood management?
So Odisha's success in cyclone management was primarily because of stakeholder approach, where the people, the various stakeholders, the civil society was taken into account. So that is something that Bihar must incorporate, where we need to take up the people as a whole approach, where the people should be made to understand the problems that they are facing, also the issues that get accumulated, such as the encroachment.
What are the climate challenges of India?
So most of all, we are, since a tropical country, we are at a very high risk of this climate change, be it the erratic rainfall pattern or be it the desertification, because we do see that 30% of India's land area is under desertification by ISRO's land atlas. So
How
these
do
are
you
major
feel
things.
about inflation in India?
So during the COVID pandemic, the problem got exacerbated. Before that, it was in the range of 4% to 2 to 6% range, which is set up by the MPC. Currently, it is India is doing well in terms of inflation, but RBI has pointed out that we need to be vigilant.
Recently, World Economic Forum has the 54th meeting.
Yes,
We analyze its outcome.
sir. It is held at Davos, if I
Yeah, you are
remember
right.
correctly, and the major outcomes this time were regarding gender equality. Along with that, climate was a major issue there. Also, a just transition to green climate is something.
What
that-
about artificial intelligence?
Yes, sir. That was also a major.
What has been decided there?
So it was decided that any sort of artificial intelligence advancement that we have, it must be people centric, and that is a prime issue.
Thank
Yes. You tell me 2-3 famous tourist places in Bihar where international tourists they come.
So Bodh Gaya is very popular because of Buddha's enlightenment. Along with that, Nalanda. Also, Valmiki Reserve is a potential tourist place which is not really developed up to its potential right now.
So in Bodh Gaya, tourists come from which country? Maximum tourists.
Mainly from the Buddhist countries such as the Southeast Asian nations or Japan too.
What was the main message of Lord Buddha? Any 2-3
Sir,
messages?
Sir, it was the Madhyam Marg, which basically says that we have to shun the extremes and we need to take into account the various realities of life.
Okay. Now you tell me which period of the history has impressed you or where maximum social works were done by the emperors?
Sir, in this regard, I feel Ashoka's time period was very relevant. Along with this, we have King Zainalabuddin in Kashmir, whose rule was also very socially uplifting.
What Ashoka did for the people of
Sir,
kingdom?
Yes, sir. So it was basically the Dhamma that he propounded. It was a sort of social morality that he tried to incorporate. But it had some political overtones too, but still it had themes like respecting the elders and taking care of the people who are in need, that sort of thing.
What is this Uniform Civil Code? Do
Sir,
we do it at the national level?
So the last law commission pointed out that Uniform Civil Code is not something that we inherently need at this point in time or something that is very desirable. But basically it aims at uniform policies in terms of the civil law. Be it all the various communities, they should have similar laws for civil cases such as divorce, marriage, and these sort of succession issues.
My last question, how the population of the country can be controlled, which is not stopping at all?
Sir, in my humble opinion, I would beg to disagree a bit. I do feel that if you look into the NFHS data or the SRS data, the total fertility rate has declined to about 2.1, which is the replacement rate. So I feel that in the natural progression of economic development that we are going through, and with women empowerment, it will reduce to the desirable level.
Okay, thank you.
Siddharth, what is this Mission Karma Yogi?
Mission Karma Yogi is an initiative by the central government for capacity building, especially of the civil servants.
Okay, so which means civil servants need capacity building?
Yes.
Is something going wrong somewhere?
So there are some problems.
Like?
For example, there is a lethargy that we witness and the tapeism that we witness where because of various problems, civil servants
So
are
you
not...
want to join a lethargic service?
Sir, the service as a whole is not lethargic, but there are some silos where we are facing some problems. I feel that IAS or any civil service is a very vibrant service. It is not lethargic.
Where do you see IAS in 2047?
Sir,
What is the role? What will be the role?
what would be the role of? Sorry, I could not hear, sir.
What will be the role of IAS in 2047?
Sir, IAS will continue to remain the steel frame of Indian bureaucracy.
No, that was there, 100 years ago.
Sir, it is still...
Now it's not needed. Huh?
Sir, I feel that the diversity of career opportunities that IAS provides and the sort of
There's an IAS provides, right? But what is the role of IAS in the economic development? India is going to be a developed economy. And developed economy, the institution work, right?
Yes.
Sell policy features.
Okay. Sir, at various levels of the Indian apparatus that we have a welfare state, in all spheres we are having the IAS officers who are handling the policy implementation, and at their personal level too, they are also taking some initiatives.
We are now having lot of officers through lateral entry.
Yes, sir.
Specialists are coming, more and more specialists are coming in the government. Then where do you see the role of a journalist service?
Sir, while lateral entry is a positive initiative that is much needed at this point in time, at the same time, IAS officers, because of their training and because of their ground level experience, they are indeed very capable of handling the various departments that they are.
But that is now. What about 2047?
We will continue to keep up with the capacity building of them, and they will continue to remain relevant. In my
Okay, they need, move economic history, post-independence and now, till now.
Yes, sir.
Tell me the economic history of India, post-independence till now.
Okay. Sir, after independence, we had 4 pillars of economic growth, which was growth, equity, modernization, and self-reliance. So these were the 4 pillars by which we tried to do a sort of import substitution. So the government focused on the heavy industry, and simultaneously there was a focus on the tech sector too in terms of IITs. So we moved on in terms of heavy industries, and by the 1970s, there was this sort of competition that was not being provided because the government was trying to provide a sort of level playing field to the Indian industry. Because of these lack of competition policies, because of these policies, there was a sort of decline in the quality of Indian products, and because of this, we were not really competitive at the global stage. So these manifested in the problems that we're facing, such as the low growth rates and lack of competition, low quality of our products and services, which ultimately had to be tackled after the 1991 reforms, which led to a gradual reopening of the
What made Government of India to go for 1991 reforms?
So the primary reason was the balance of payment crisis, because we did
That
not
was the only one?
That was the primary. Along with that, we had issues like stagnation in the Indian economy. Also, there was the lack of choice for the consumers also. These were.
What about the fiscal deficit? What about the inflation rate?
So inflation, if I remember correctly, was not such a big issue at that point. I might be wrong.
It wasn't 2-digit.
Okay, sir.
It wasn't 2-digit.
I stand corrected. That was
okay. Tell me the history of the local government.
So local governments have had a history in ancient India too, because we do see,
fine.
Be it the Cholas or
move to British India.
So in British India, local government, Lord Ripon is considered the father. Before that, we had some municipalities, but at the local level, panchayats used to function, and they were given some sort of autonomy in terms of.
You take quizzes as well.
Yes, sir.
Tell me the first municipal corporations of India.
I think it was Madras.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Which year?
It was 1688 or something.
Which year they introduced the fiscal decentralization?
Sir, I don't recall that.
Lord Mayo.
Yes.
Do you know about Decentralization Commission? Which year?
No, sir. Sorry, I do not recall that.
You do not know. Okay. What was the main features of the Ripon resolutions?
So they were aimed at granting a sort of autonomy to the local governments.
Why it failed?
Sir, it failed because the precise autonomy was not really granted, and the local governments also failed to take the initiatives that.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Tell me, what is Gram Kacheri?
Gram Kacheri.
Of Bihar.
Sir, I'm not aware of the exact term. Is it about Lok Adalat that we have?
Similar to that.
Okay. So
my last question to you, Siddharth. One nation, one election. What are the issues involved?
So the issues are primarily about synchronization of the states and national elections.
Thanks. Thank you.
Siddharth, if you are asked to write the history of post-independent India,
yes,
in one para, what 5-6 points you will highlight, and take no names?
So it was a history from scarcity to surplus, where we went from a situation where we did not even have the food for ourselves to becoming the exporters. Along with that, we have split the atom and we have reached the moon. So that was on the backs of pull-up cards. So that was also very significant. Along with that, in economic terms, we have greater level of prosperity in our nation compared to the famine-like situation in 1942.
Some punchline you have there, like split the atom.
No, sir. I cannot recall anything.
Fifth largest economy?
Yeah, the fifth largest.
Okay, go on.
Okay. Along with that, we became a knowledge powerhouse in terms of IT sector. So,
Something on polity?
yes, politically we are the most vibrant and largest democracy in the world.
Good. Now, if I say that a study of history really leads to divisions. Oh, Israelis are fighting 2000-year-old war. Some people in India are fighting 600-year-old. Pehle kya hua, kya nahi hua. And people should live in present and plan for the future. So history is irrelevant. Why do we study history?
So the problems that you mentioned are precisely because of a misunderstanding of history, a lack of reading of history. Because be it the 600-year case in India or the Israel-Palestine issue, the primary issues are because both of the sides...
Then there are always two views. Some people will question what you are saying, and that is the whole problem. There are two views of history.
Yes.
Why study such a controversial subject?
Okay, sir, of course, history is controversial and it will remain so. However, and while there are biases in history, we must try to be as objective as possible in history, and for that we have to do a fact-based understanding of history. May I put forward an example here, sir, if I may?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So, the permanent settlement that we had in India in Lord Cornwallis's tenure, that was...
Okay, no, let's not go there. Another thing, in your, if you look back,
Yes, sir.
Last 2000 years of human history, humankind, do you see some pattern the human race is moving in a certain direction? Anything comes to your mind?
So more or less, we have moved in a positive progression where...
Substantiate, sure,
Yes.
Go ahead.
Where we have had substantial progress, like even a lower middle class person of today is living better than the kings of 2000 years earlier. Nonetheless, there have been some problems, there have been some ups and downs. It has been a topsy-turvy ride.
In the organization of political power?
Yes, it has been a shift towards greater democratization of the polities. It has been a shift towards greater equity in the economic apparatus also.
Go on.
And socially also there has been improvement in the status of various sectors such as the women or the LGBTQ.
Very, very good. Now, one more thing, that you are from Bihar. People of Nepal feel that India has a big brother attitude, and the boss of Maldives also said that we try to bully them. Do you think there is some merit in what they say?
So while these statements have a degree of overstatement in them, exaggeration in them, but there is some element of truth to it, I believe.
So how can we correct that? Maldives also has said that. Is there something basically wrong in our foreign policy, you feel?
So there is one issue that I can see. It is like the way we treat, the way we have treated in the past the Indian Ocean region as our backyard. That has created some problems because the people of other nations feel that India has been dictating the policies, even the internal issues.
Are we able to meet the expectations of our neighbors? I'm changing the question.
So to a great extent we are. In fact, we are much better neighbor than any other country that can be thought of. We have never went into sort of invasion of other countries unprovoked. We have never indulged unduly into any affairs unless they concern the...
Sri Lanka will not agree.
So we went to Sri Lanka with the approval of the Sri Lankan government. In fact, the invitation of Sri Lankan government.
Do you think the then President Jayawardene made a royal fool of Indian leadership?
So not exactly
by
a
that
fool.
Whole agreement?
So not exactly a fool, but yes, India, with the benefit of hindsight, we can say that it was a wrong step on our
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth. Just wait for a minute outside, we'll call you back.
part. Okay. Thank you, sir.